Fantasy G Podcast with your host, Gerson Aguirre, where winning is everything.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to week 2. We are here. Last week was a good week. I hope this week is a better week. We're here. We're going to break down week 2 for Draftkings. A little bit of Fanduel. Mostly play on Draftkings, but we'll go ahead and break down the plays. Same plays go for both sides. Everybody knows that. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it real quick.
Quarterback.
At quarterback, I think this week is very straightforward. I don't know you guys seen what happened last Monday Night Football, but Derek Carr looked really good. Derek Carr is going to be one of my top options for cash and GPP. I think Derek Carr is a very viable option due to his value. His value is very almost 3.9 times value on my quarterback at an ownership of 8%. Chiefs defense allowed to Gardner Minshew, and this guy, I mean, I tell you, he's a legendary. Like he's a legend. He's going to be a legend, in dressing wise, because I don't know if you guys seen the videos, but in the pictures, but go look him up on Twitter and you'll see what I'm talking about. This guy dressed up like he's like Starsky and Hutch, man. Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles both combined for 27 of 33 passing attempt for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. And if the Chiefs are going to allow that to a Raiders offense that I think is a little bit better than the Jaguars, maybe it's debatable. But Derek Carr also didn't have 1 sack last week. It was a very good pass rush of the defensive of the Broncos. I kind of like that upside right there for protecting him. I mean, he was hurt when he done bad. I mean, when he's hurt, in his Pro Bowl year, when he got hurt at the end of the season, he was doing good, and that was when his offensive line was good. The Raiders looked very good week 1, 84% passing completion from Derek Carr, 10 yards an attempt. I think I really like Derek Carr this week for his value. They have the Monday night pricing, so they're not going to change it a lot. I definitely have Derek Carr right now as one of my top quarterbacks that I'm going to target for week 2. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next quarterback I have is Jared Goff. Jared Goff, to me, a home quarterback, being favored in a very tough matchup. But it's going to be a high-scoring one. And we saw what Jared Goff did last year when they faced each other. So, overall, I'm going to be targeting him. Jared Goff went off for 33 points, I believe. Let's check it real quick. Went off for 15 points in the playoff, but it was a tougher environment. It's at New Orleans. He doesn't do as well. But at home, he went off for 33 points, and he completed 391 yards and 3 touchdowns. This defense hasn't really changed a lot, and as we saw week 1, DMC overall, just Deshaun Watson threw for 300 yards, and almost nearly 300 yards, 3 touchdowns on them, so I'm not really worried too much about that New Orleans defense. At home, so that's really a good positive environment for Jared Goff, and a high correlated game for quarterback to quarterback, going back and forth. Going to be a lot of points being scored in that game. Definitely like Jared Goff for his 5,900 on Draftkings. And pricing, I have him almost at 3.5 times value. Ownership, it's only supposed to be 5.1%, so that's pretty lowly owned. Maybe that's something you want to look at, man. Like, it's just if I get quarterbacks that are lowly owned, that's going to move me up in GPP. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can play him in cash game, I would say, but I like Carr better in cash game. I think that's what I'm going to target. After that, we have Patrick Mahomes. No mystery here, man. The guy MVP. He's so good. I mean, when you just slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. Don't be throwing no look past Travis Kelce, and Travis Kelce looks at you like, what the fuck, dumbass? You know, like don't do that. You know. In 2 games against the Raiders last year, Mahomes averaged 288 yards and 3 touchdowns per game. The Chiefs in Week 17, they kind of took they didn't really play at the end, like toward the matchup, because They already locked in for the playoff, but he could have probably done more, but he only threw the ball 24 times in that game. Raiders allowed 13 out of their 16 matchup last year. They allowed multiple passing touchdowns. So Mahomes without Hill, it worries a lot of people. To me, it doesn't really worry me too much. That offense still has a lot of weapon. They drafted Mecole Hardman back when, Tyreek Hill decided to be a little punk, and he got charged for child abuse or whatnot, and he was under investigation. They didn't know if they were going to suspend him or whatnot. So they drafted Mecole Hardman. I don't mind Mecole, but I like the other options better. So one thing that you should be looking at this game, don't be like, oh, Tyreek's out, that's going to hurt him. It's not going to hurt Mahomes at all. Still going to be MVP, leading team average to just about 29.9% attempt per game. So they're going to throw the ball still. 7.3% touchdown rate. That's insane. And that's a high-end quarterback one. I'm going to take Mahomes. He's going to be on the road. I expect this game to be more of a shootout. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to this game, actually. People are going to be like, you have so much exposure. But there's a reason why. I love this game. And I'm going to target it pretty much all around, back and forth. But Mahomes, Carr, Goff, and then we got Deshaun Watson. I've always been a big Deshaun Watson fan. I've always touted him since he was a rookie. But, I mean, last week he threw for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He got a rushing touchdown, but if you look at it, he got a rushing touchdown, he got 40 yards. That 40 yards equals out to about a touchdown. So, 31 points for 4.7 times value against New Orleans last week. He has played Jacksonville. I'm not worried about Jacksonville. I mean, Mahomes can tear him up. I believe right now Houston is just right on par with them. I love Deshaun Watson's upside always. Yes, his offensive line is not that great. I actually think we're going to get him a little bit of lower ownership at 4.7% ownership. I'm gonna play him 6,600 on Draftkings. I like him a lot this week. Gonna be one of my 6 quarterbacks I'm probably gonna have in my core. Deshaun Watson would correlate him with DeAndre Hopkins or Fuller. I mean, you can go Duke Johnson too, but I would rather just do the wide receivers. I mean, Kiki Kuchi looks like he's going to play. Overall, he's going to have all his weapons. He can have his full arsenal to put it on the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're at home too. I always like home quarterbacks, so projected for 25.50 Vegas total, implied total point. He basically has it all lined up for him. While people think Jacksonville is a really good defense, I still think they're going to regress as they regressed before last year. So I still like that. Deshaun Watson at Jacksonville. My next quarterback is Drew Brees. Of course, if I Drew Brees is a like he always has that. Oh, he's not a road quarterback. Don't play him. You know. I'm kind of falling off that. He's done pretty well on the road last year, but last year versus the Rams, he got 249 yards, 2 touchdowns in the playoff game, and then the other matchup, he had 34 DraftKings points, 4 touchdowns, 346 yards. I mean, passer rating 137. Overall, this Rams defense is probably decent defense, but they lost Ndamukong Suh. They lost a couple players. Their offense is not as strong, so they're not going to be like holding the ball too long. I really like Drew Brees this week versus the Rams. I think you're going to get him at a really low ownership. When I say low, it's probably like 2 or 3, 4 or 5%. Maybe 2 or 3% actually. Right now I have him projected for 1.6% ownership. I'm going to target that game because it's a high scoring game, 25 over total implied total for them, and then we got of course, Jared Goff at 27. That's almost a 52 point. That is a 52 point over under. So definitely going to target that game a lot. The next 2 quarterbacks are my contrarian plays. I really like them to be lowly owned, and not a lot of people are going to be on them, but I think they have that upside feeling. There's Big Ben. Ben Roethlisberger. Everybody thinks he last week was like the end of the world. I mean, it is the end of the world when you lose to the Patriots. That's what it feels like, right? When you lose to the Super Bowl champ, you're like, oh, shit. But I tell you this, Big Ben's going to bounce back this week. 5,800 at DraftKings price. That's a really good value. I think I have Big Ben doing pretty well. If Andy Dalton can tear up that secondary of the Seattle Seahawks, I have no fear that Big Ben can tear it up. Overall, we've seen what Big Ben did at home. I mean, in his first game at home last year versus Kansas City, he scored 41 points. Then versus Baltimore, 15 points. Then Atlanta, 22. Then Cleveland, 17. Overall, Carolina, 38. This guy's good at home. I'm telling you guys. In this matchup, I don't really put a lot of emphasis into that defense of Seattle. I mean, yes, they do have a solid front seven, but that'll affect more Connor than Big Ben. I think the secondary is weak. I think Big Ben is going to have a heck of a day, and he can be a contrarian play. You can stack him with the likes of Dante Moncrief, James Washington, Vance McDonald, Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm going to try to get Big Ben in there. I have him as one of my DraftKings leverage play. When I say DraftKings leverage play, I mean like the ownership combined with the value of what he can provide to be very lowly owned. The next quarterback is Kyler Murray. I was big on him last week. Kyler Murray's stud this week. I mean, this guy is just a flat out. He's a player. I mean, like he might be small, but that offense is amazing. We saw what they did last week. So overall, Kyler Murray. Ravens have an injury right now with Tavon Austin and Tavon Young and Jimmy Smith being out. They ran a 4-set wide receiver 67% of the time in week 1, and they ran a ridiculous 21.36 seconds per play, along with 82 plays. I looked at it a little bit further into it because I wanted to know what Baltimore ran, and Baltimore ran 73 plays, but it was against Miami, but still, 82, 73 plays. If we can get a 70 pace play total, I'm all over this game, man. I'm going to try to get Kyler. And the crazy part is his wide receivers are also being under-owned. So if he does great and then they hit, you're going to be looking up there in the GPP. So I definitely love Kyler Murray in this game. Another quarterback I want to look at, not going to talk about him a lot, but Marcus Mariota, keep an eye on him. He has a really good leverage score right now. Marcus Mariota kind of fits the mold that I had last week for Dak Prescott. He had a high leverage score. He was at home. He versed Indiana. Low ownership. I like his value. He's my third most valuable quarterback. Now, other notable quarterbacks are Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson. Those are my other notable quarterbacks. I'm not really looking at much more, but overall, those are the quarterback plays for this week. My strategy is very simple. In cash game, you want to target Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen. In GPPs, basically all those guys that I mentioned. But in cash game, I think the play is Patrick Mahomes versus the Raiders. You're going to have to find some money, and the way you're going to find that money is the positions that I tell you later on. There's a lot of value this week with the Raiders game being the Monday night pricing. Let's go ahead and jump into our next position real quick.
Running back.
We have running back. Running back is very, very simple. I always play the chalk, so let's go ahead and just name the running backs. You guys are going to be like, oh, what? It's all chalk? What? Alvin Kamara, baby, comes number 1. CMC last week versus the Rams got 209 total yards, 2 touchdowns. Could have been 3 touchdowns with some guy that I never heard of. Alex Arma got one at the goal line. He vultured it. Alvin Kamara did well last week versus the 8th best team versus running back, total of 169 yards. This week right now versus the Rams, I expect him to have a hell of a game. I love Kamara. His usage only went higher on his first game last year in the let's call it the shootout, man, because that game was awesome. I remember watching that game on Fox. 33 DraftKings point. The score was 45-35. He got 82 yards, 19 attempts, 2 touchdowns, and rushing, and then 1 touchdown receiving, 4 for 34. So overall, I mean, that gives you an idea. His floor, his ceiling, but his floor was during the playoff. It was 8 for 15 on rushing, but then receiving, he was 13 for 11 for 96 yards. And he still got 22 points, so that's his floor. So you're looking for his ceiling, 33 points, floor maybe 22. I don't mind taking in between that, like 25, 26 points, you know. So I'm going to target a lot of Alvin Kamara in this week. The next guy I like right now is Josh Jacob. I don't actually, if we're going to go in order for like value and whatnot, I'm not going to go in that order, so I'm just going to name the players. Josh Jacob, supposed to be the highest owned running back, along with Kamara. Kamara and Jacob, my top 2 running backs this week. Jacob facing the Kansas City Chiefs this week. Overall, Jacob, I don't know what to tell you. Bell cow running back now. 24 touches to Richard, only getting 1. And this defensive unit, the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't fear them. I never had, never will. Overall, they have a really weak defense. Not Pagano. I already forgot it, but he was a former, I think it's Pagano actually. Let's see. Defense coordinator. Yeah, Steve Pagano, whatever his name is a defensive coordinator. I've always thought he was overrated overall. He switched the scheme too. Didn't look very well last week versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This unit allowed 4.96 yards per carry. Also allowed a league high 7.65 yards per target to running back. Jacob, just to give you how much volume he had, he only had 2 fewer touches than Derek Carr had as pass attempt. That's pretty big. And to be honest, we're looking at Monday night pricing. This is huge. Like I said early on, Monday night pricing were not adjusted. They can't be adjusted due to the Draftkings rules. So they stuck with his pricing. His pricing's incredible. It's $4,700. So overall, I'm going to be targeting a lot of Josh Jacob. The next running back I want to talk about is Austin Eklund. Austin Eklund to me is he's a workhorse too. When Melvin Gordon sat every single category, Austin Eklund was actually a better running back. Yard per catch, rushing yard per attempt. Just everything you can speak about on a running back, he was better. And of course, that's why the Chargers are dumb. Their analytic department realized, hey, we don't got to pay Melvin Gordon. We just have Austin Eklund. He can do the same work Melvin Gordon can. Maybe a little bit less rushing, but overall, we thought what he got. He was a very, very, very good start last week. If you played him, Eklund would be the leader in the Chargers backfield. He got a 65-35 split. Overall, I think that's only going to get higher, probably 70-30, after they realize how good of a runner and pass catcher he is. I love Eklund this week. Last week he showed he can do it all. He got 7 targets for 6 receptions, 96 yards, and 2 touchdowns, kind of like a Kamara. I'm not saying he's as good a runner as Kamara, though, because I think Philip Rivers really makes him a good player. That's what I think it really is. But definitely like Austin Eklund in this matchup against Detroit. If David Johnson could get a receiving touchdown on them, I'm more than confident Austin Eklund can get it at 6,100. The next running back I want to talk about is Matt Breida. Last year when, what's his name? Not Tevin Coleman because he wasn't there, but when Jerick McKinnon got hurt, and then they had other running back got hurt, when Breida got the workload, give you some example. Against Detroit, he went for 11 attempts for 138 yards, 1 touchdown. Against Kansas City, he got 14 points. Well, that last game was 27 points versus Detroit. 14 points for Kansas City on 10 attempts for 90 yards. And then on week 5 versus Arizona, he got 13.8 for 56 and 1 reception. Now, the big games were New York Giants and Tampa Bay, where he actually got a really big size workload. And this is why I'm excited. When this guy gets more than 20 touches, he nearly crushes value. And if I can get him to get 20 touches this week, which I think is in the realm, he got 31 points versus the New York Giants at 6.2 times value at 5,000, which is what he's nearly priced right now. He's 5,200. Tampa Bay, 20 points, 106 yards. He's averaging 5.9, 7.6 yards per carry in those 2 games. But overall, this guy's a stud. He's fast. He was the fastest runner with the ball last year. I'm going to be targeting him quite a bit. Tevin Coleman's out. We know Breida's going to be the starting running back. He's going to get the lead role. And I have him projected for almost 17 points. Obviously, if I can get that at 7.9 to 10% ownership, I'm going to be all over that. I expect a lot of Jacob ownership to carry that range, but I'm going to get as much Breida as I can in my player pool. Next guy I have is Mark Ingram. We saw what Ingram was last week. I mean, this guy, he only nearly played basically 3 quarters. Mark Ingram versus the Arizona Cardinals. We saw what C.J. Anderson kind of did to them along with Carry-On. They got a little bit of their way with them. But we want to target Mark Ingram because of the volume. He didn't play the whole game. And basically he went 14 attempts for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns. 7.6 yards per carry. That's crazy. And they have a 29.50 Vegas total. I always look for volume. Mark Ingram got that. I always look for Vegas. Mark Ingram got that. Positive game script. Mark Ingram got that. Ownership. Mark Ingram gonna get that. He right now is only projected for 1.8% ownership. I believe that should be way higher. That should be at least 10 to 15. But I don't know. I don't run the ownership stuff. But I'm gonna try to get him. I'm really excited for Ingram. He's still priced reasonably priced at $6,000. All over Mark Ingram, baby. It's whew. I'm just waiting for the moment. This game's over under 29 points for them. That's crazy, man. I don't know if I was ever gonna think that the Ravens could score that many points, but last week they scored 52, so you never know. All right, the next running backs are contrarian running back. I'm gonna name 2 running backs that are probably gonna make you puke. So if you want to puke, grab your bag or grab your garbage can. But Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson. I really like both of them in this game. I don't know which one I'm going to have the most, but you can choose both of them and play GPP only. Chris Thompson last year versus Dallas overall, and he had 16 points in Week 8. He had 8 receptions for 9 targets for 76 yards. Overall, that's something I kind of look for in my running backs, a high ceiling on Draftkings for reception, for target. And we know Chris Thompson is the guy for the receiving workload in the backfield. But then when we go to the other spot, Adrian Peterson. They're both really the same price, $3,900, $3,800, I believe. Let me double check on Thompson. Yeah, they're both $3,900. Actually, Peterson's $3,400, even cheaper. But I have a leverage score of 9.9 for Adrian Peterson. That leverage score is pretty high for a running back. I mean, he's my second highest leverage score, and he's actually my, I think, 3rd best value at running back for 12.9. Let me double check this real quick. Yeah, I mean, Adrian Peterson, we saw one game last year where he had almost 25 attempts. In the first game versus Dallas, he had 24 attempts for 99 yards and 1 receiving. That's 11 points. But if he would have gotten a touchdown or even a receiving touchdown, he would have crushed value. He's cheaper. He's almost $12,000 cheaper than last year. $3,400 right now. In the second game, he didn't do too well, but he still got 12 attempts for 35 yards. And he just got shut out. But I really expect Peterson to be healthy, be fresh, and I always try to target him at the beginning of the season. This is a contrarian play. This is a GPP play, lowly owned. Don't go crazy on it. But yeah, my second running back that I'm really looking at is this guy. I'm gonna try to get a lot more than other contrarian play. I'm a big fan of David Johnson. Always have been in the last couple of years. I usually call him David Mother Effing Johnson. Guy's a stud. Last week we saw what he really could do. He was what we wanted, in the past, Got 25 Draftkings points versus Detroit. Facing Baltimore, I know people are like, this is a tough matchup. Yes, it could be a tough matchup, but I really think in that RPO system, his receiving upside is high now. He got 7 targets, 6 receptions, 55 yards, and a hell of a touchdown. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he got it over the middle with the seam route and laying back into the touchdown. I was like, wow. But I expect this game to be higher scoring than people think. Like I said, this game's going to be a little bit higher scoring than Vegas implied. Vegas has an implied total of 16 points. I don't believe that. I think this game can be like 24, maybe 35. 24, 35, something like that. But I'm playing the ownership game on the Arizona Cardinals. I'm gonna try to get them in my game. But love David Johnson this week for his ownership. That's insane. If I can get ownership of 5% on David Johnson, 7,100, it's over. I can't see him having a bad game against this defense. I know everybody thinks it's a great defense overall. They're a good defense, but they play Miami, so everybody calm down. Miami's not like a great offense. Hell, they're not even a good defense. They're so bad that the Dolphins logo, the Dolphins said, I'm out. That's how bad they are. So Arizona Cardinals is definitely on my radar. I'm gonna have a lot of David Johnson. I'm gonna try to get him in there with my core of top 5 guys that I mentioned earlier on. All right, let's go to the next position that we're gonna target.
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Okay, guys, this week is tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would it was a headache, but I think we're gonna have to. We have value at running back already. We're gonna find some value at tight end later on, but wide receiver, I'm gonna try to pay up for one wide receiver and then get a mid tier and then a value. But I forgot to mention on running back, my strategy, like I always say, pay up for the chop. Let's go ahead and go back to running back real quick. Actually, I apologize. My 3 cash game running back, my core, as I like to call it, last week they smashed. I had CMC, Carson, and Eklund, and they did hell good. My core this week for running back cash game is going to be Jacob, Kamara, and Eklund. So just smash them in, put them in, play those guys. Those are my guys. At wide receiver this week, I'm going to try to go pay up for one, get a mid-tier, and then get a really cheap guy. The cheap guy is going to be very popular, so I'm going to go both ways. There's 2 ways I can go very cheap. But let's go ahead and cover the wide receivers real quick. I had Sammy Watkins as my number 1 favorite target. Facing the Oakland Raiders, we know Sammy Watkins had the highest scoring fantasy player. He was the highest scoring fantasy player last week, but what was more interesting was that he was the highest graded wide receiver. And we've seen what Sammy Watkins can do when he's healthy. In the past, he hasn't been healthy. That was the problem. He always been a wide receiver 1 upside, but he was healthy now, and might as well take advantage while we can. And that price should have been higher, 7,100. That's very cheap. 135 yards after the catch. He forced 3 missed tackles. One of them was a hell of a juke on Jalen Ramsey. Almost left him in his shoes, man. Like, whoop! He's like Chris Berman. Whoop! And there he goes. Something like that. I don't know how Chris Berman does it, but I was like, damn, he's gone. But he did this while running 55% of his route lined up on Jalen Ramsey. Or AJ Boyd. He had no Tyreek this week, so I expect even a heavier workload. I can tell you this, Raiders don't have a Jalen Ramsey or an AJ Boyd, so definitely love Tyreek this week. I expect him to get a bunch of targets, and I expect his ownership to be one of the highest wide receiver ownership. Right now, he's projected 22.6% ownership at 2. That's pretty high. 7,200 on Draftkings. I have him projected for almost 20 points right now. So if I can get 20 points out of Sammy Watkins, I'm dancing in money, baby. You're usually paying for like 8,100 for like 20 points. But the next wide receiver I want to talk about is Larry Fitzgerald. I can't tell you. I know you guys are thinking, dude, you love a lot of the Cardinals. They're the reason why. They're running a high pace, and their prices haven't caught up to them. And Larry, still being Larry, guys still get open. One of the things that I love about the Cardinals offense is that they make the other team tired. By the 4th quarter, they're running 80 plays. The other team gets very tired, and that's why Detroit allowed a comeback. 13 targets, 8 receptions, 113 yards, 1 touchdown for good old Larry Fitzgerald. Woo! Guy's not going to retire anytime soon, I bet. But definitely love Larry Fitzgerald. I've always been a big fan. His price is $4,600, guys. $4,600. At 4.7% ownership projected. Oh, man, I want him a lot. And I have him... Oh, man. I have him almost at 3 times value, so for sure going to be targeting Larry Fitzgerald in this game versus the Baltimore Ravens with no Tavon Young or Jimmy Smith, baby. Oh yeah, he's gonna eat. He's gonna eat. I really expect Larry Fitzgerald to have a big game in this game. The next wide receiver I have on my ranking is Tyrell Williams, Tyrell the Gazelle. I mean, this guy got paid the highest in the offseason for a reason. He was the highest paid wide receiver in the offseason. I don't support that payment. I don't make the paycheck. Some lunatic named Mark Davis does that doesn't know how to get a fucking haircut. Oh, man. He gets a bowl cut, man. That's just ridiculous. You're a billionaire and you can't even afford a normal haircut. But Tyrell Williams, 4,400. He's projected for ownership of 31%, the highest projected wide receiver this week. So basically lock him into your cash game, lock him into your GPP, lock him in your fantasy team, you know. Just a great play this week for Kansas City. I mean, we saw what Kansas City allowed to D.D. Westbrook, Conley, and those other guys. I mean, they threw for 330 yards on them. I expect Carr to get it done with Tyrell Williams this week. The other thing is we have extreme value on him. 3.3 times value, that's insane. So everybody can play him. He's the highest wide receiver owned. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. Probably one of the things that I really like about this game is at home. And they did really, really well last week at home. They look really good. They look cinched and everything. He made a hell of a catch. There was one catch that was like a 40-yard catch, and I was like, damn. He laid out and caught it. I mean, 7 targets, 6 receptions, 105 yards, 1 touchdown. So, like, it's like Antonio Brown who? Or like Big Ben would say, whatever. Alright, next wide receiver we have is 2 high-tier wide receivers, and I'm going to talk about them very briefly, not too much. Michael Thomas, we know the game he's playing in. We're gonna want to target him a lot. Akeem Talib was hurt in last year's game of the shootout. Michael Thomas got 42 points, 15 targets, 12 receptions, 211 yards, and a touchdown. But that was in the game that Akeem Talib didn't play. In the game that he did play, he did give Thomas quite a bit of a trouble. 7 targets, 4 receptions, 36 yards. I don't expect Thomas. They're gonna remember that playoff game. They're gonna try to work it differently. I think they're gonna use a different strategy and try to get Thomas the ball more. I think Thomas is a good player in this game overall. Gonna be targeting him. The next guy is DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of people always talk about how DeAndre Hopkins has a tough matchup against Jalen Ramsey. I don't believe that. DeAndre Hopkins still always becomes a wide receiver 1 when he plays Jalen Ramsey. And we saw that last week. I mean, Sammy Watkins did really good. I don't think Sammy Watkins is better than DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins way better than him. So I think Hopkins can have a bigger game this week. He's going to be on like 14%. I'm going to have a lot of Hopkins. But the guy that I really want to talk about the most is Keenan Allen. The news is that it looks like Mike Williams will not play. Keenan Allen, 7,600. One of my top guys that I really want to target a lot. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. I upped his projection just today. I don't believe Mike Williams will play. They said that they don't expect him to play. So I'm going to have a lot of Keenan Allen, 7,600. I mean, last week he tore it up. He got 10 targets for 8 receptions, 123 yards, and a touchdown. That was with Mike Williams. The other part is Hunter Henry is out. I feel bad for that guy, man. Like, I feel bad for everybody that drafted him, like, in the 5th or 6th round. I've never been a Hunter Henry guy. I don't know why people like him so much. But overall, no Hunter Henry, no Mike Williams. That's going to open up a lot for Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. Don't mind those 2 guys together. Maybe not GP. Maybe in GPP. Maybe not in cash game. But definitely like Keenan Allen. If I get the news that Mike Williams is officially out, then I probably am gonna put Keenan Allen in my cash game roster if I play him. But overall, he's gonna get a lot of targets versus Detroit. I mean, if Larry Fitzgerald and the Cardinals can do what they did against Arizona, imagine what this Charger offense can do against Detroit. I mean, overall, I'm gonna have a lot of exposure. I love Keenan Allen. He always has like high usage, high targets. So he's safe. He's a boring player. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, everybody thinks I don't like people are like I don't like playing boring play. I'm like, dude, I don't care as long as they make me money. But Kyler Murray last week got 308 yards. So if Philip Rivers, I think he can do that job too. But Keenan Allen, someone that really jumped on my list today, and I got him projected high. I mean, he's probably a top 3 wide receiver projected for me, but I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. The contrarian plays are very contrarian for me. I'm going to start off with one guy that I don't expect to have a lot of ownership. People have been talking about him, but they talk about him like as if like they're leaning on the fence of playing him. I'm playing him. I mentioned Big Ben early on in my contrarian quarterback. I have Juju Smith-Schuster. People are worried about his toe. I'm not worried about it. If he practiced in full and he looked okay, I think the coach is going to realize, all right, we got you, Juju. Go ahead and play. Juju Smith-Schuster, he's the number 1 wide receiver now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of people now say that he can't do it without Antonio Brown. Well, I got news for you guys. He actually did better when Antonio Brown didn't play games with him in the 3 games that they didn't play together. And I think he's going to... wait, what? He played New England? He got shut down? Okay, whatever, dude. He got 6 receptions for 78 yards. He would have gotten a touchdown. He would have gotten 20 points. So, overall, it's against a good New England defense. They don't know how to take away wide receiver 1. It's New England. It's Bill Belichick. He's a genius. I don't think Seattle is a genius. I mean, when Seattle allowed 2 touchdowns to Josh, John. What's his name? Is it Ross? Yeah, Ross. John Ross. In 130 plus yards. Yeah, I'm good. I think Juju can do the same. 7,500. I think he's gonna be higher owned than. That's this one contrarian play that I don't know what his ownership's gonna be. I think it should be higher, but people have been mentioning him. But like I said, there are people are like leaning on the fence. It should be pretty easy. Keenan Allen, Juju. I mean, those guys I really want. The next 2 guys are very low value play. They're like value play that you want to have in your GPP only. Preston Williams was like what you would like to call a preseason darling. Preston Williams last week he got a touchdown. He got 5 targets, 3 receptions for 24 yards. He 3,400 guys, really cheap. And in this game, it's gonna be a higher pace, and they're gonna have to throw the ball a lot versus New England. I expect Preston Williams to get a little bit, but just really low ownership, like probably like 0.5%, maybe 1%. But if he can get me more 6 receptions, maybe 40 yards, maybe a touchdown, I'm crushing it with him. But I'm going to have a little bit of ownership to him, not too much. Don't go crazy on him. The next guy I have more confidence in is Terry McLaurin, or as I like to call him, McLovin. Yeah, definitely like Terry McLaurin in this game. Terry McLaurin's a stud overall. McLaurin last week. Find my notes on him. Last week he got a very high target of target, along with he was the number 1 market for wide receivers for the Redskins. Also the number 1. He had 42% air yard, and giving you an idea, Travis Kelce was one of the leaders in that. Overall, I mean, McLaurin to me, I'm going to try to get him a lot in my GPP to like get him rotated out there for like a cheap value play. But like, I play 150 rosters, so you guys pick your poison. But McLaurin for me is definitely someone I want in my player pool. And along with my plays, he's only 3,800. He's really cheap. I have him projected for almost 12 points. That's almost 3.2 times value. So overall, he got 5 for 7, 125 yards, and 1 touchdown in week 1. It's scary Terry time, baby. His pro debut was crazy. But he ran a 4.35. He's 6'2", overall, just gives you an idea what his size and speed is. Redskins don't really have a lot of favorite target wide receivers and whatnot, and I definitely like Terry McLaurin in this one, baby. I'm going to get him as a contrarian play for GPP. I don't expect a lot of ownership on him. Alright, let's go to the next position, baby.
Tight end.
Alright, tight end. As I always say, tight end for me, I like to pay down, but if I have to pay up for the target, I will. But I think my number one tight end this week is Evan Ingram. I mean, there's not enough we can say about Evan Ingram. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to him. He got 14 targets for 11 receptions, 116 yards, and 1 touchdown. To give you an idea, I mean, you already know he's a pass-catching tight end. More not really a tight end that blocks. They have Rhett Ellison for that, or the other tight end, I don't remember his name. But it gives you an idea of what he is. 5,200, guys. And I have a 1.42 leverage score. That's pretty good for a tight end. 12% ownership. I expect that to go a little higher due to the Sterling Shepard news that he's going to be out. He's going to be out with a concussion. I really want Ingram in a lot of my lineup. Probably going to be my heaviest owned tight end. And yes, I understand there's other tight ends that I'm probably going to touch on right now. And you guys are going to be like, what? But, yeah. Overall, I want Ingram. And we know Buffalo will get it covering outside wide receivers, but I don't expect them to cover Ingram or shadow him or whatnot. But going to have a lot of Ingram. He's my top value for tight end. Actually, no. I lied to you guys. I apologize. Actually, Darren Waller. And, yeah, other guys. But the next tight end I want to talk about, Travis Kelce. Obviously, it's not a shocker. You know, if you're playing Kelce against the Raiders, you always should, man. This guy tears up the Raiders. Last year, he had a monster game. And the Raiders didn't do much to improve it. They did, but the guy that they drafted got hurt. So, overall, he got hurt, and I'm not looking to play Jonathan Abram. It was supposed to be the guy, tight end covering and whatnot, but yeah, he went a little crazy and blew out his shoulder because he loved to hit people. He doesn't understand when to slow down. If you watch Hard Knock, you know what I'm talking about. But overall, Kelce with the Raiders, 7,300. He's going to be the highest owned tight end next to Darren Waller. But Travis Kelce, first Raiders, let's look at the big game that he has. 42 points, 13 receptions, 13 targets, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's his ceiling. His floor is 11 points, 9 targets, 5 receptions, 62 yards. But even then, the years previous, he's always killed the Raiders. I'm a Raiders fan, so I know. But overall, no Tyreek Hill, so I expect him to get more workload at 7,300. So if you're playing Watkins or Kelce, you can pick between both. They're both nearly the same price in the flex spot. I don't really play tight ends in my flex spot. I play mostly running backs and wide receivers. But the next guy that I have, guys, I'm telling you, man, this guy, he's something, all right. He wanna be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blade, only Impala, caller. Baller Waller, baby. That's what he is. I've been hyping this guy up for like a month, like 2 months now. I've been touting him in my season long. I've been talking about him on the season long podcast. Darren Waller, 3,300. I mean, his ownership is going to be hell high because of that 3,300 draft price. And for tight end, I always look for targets. I always look for them to get a lot of volume, touchdown upside, and he has all that. I have him projected for almost 15 points. I mean, that's 4.4 times value. So at 3,300, he has a 30% ownership rate. That is the highest next to Kelce. Gonna be a lot of people playing him. So you better play him. You better lock him in. But it's gonna be tough. A lot of people are gonna debate between Kelce and Waller. But to me, I like Waller better. He's cheaper, so I usually pay down for tight end. But next guy I want to talk about is T.J. Hawkinson. This guy, man, picked him up in one of my season-long leagues, but I didn't expect him to do much. But if you I watched the tape on him. This guy is very athletic. He had 164 air yards, which would have been the most by any tight end any week last year, and he had 131 yard, which would be most by any tight end week 1, and that's the most yards for a tight end debut of all time. Keep that in mind, all time. So Hawkinson, he got involved a lot as a tight end / he would run on a slot. So I really like Hawkinson a lot this week. His price is really cheap still. Hawkinson is $3,000. That's $300 less than Darren Waller. I mean, $3,000. I mean, that's $4,300 less than Kelsey. I'm gonna have a lot of T.J. Hawkinson, man, but definitely love him. To me, tight end, I always look for targets and volume, and Hawkinson got that week 1. I mean, when you get 9 targets, that's a lot for a tight end. Definitely gonna have him. One other guy I want to mention is Mark Andrews. He got put on the injury report for his foot, but it looked like he's gonna be okay. He's gonna play. I was touting this guy as well in the offseason, and he got 8 receptions, 8 targets for 8 receptions, 108 yards and a touchdown. Now, Arizona, they just played Hawkinson, a guy similar to Mark Andrews, athletic tight end, get targeted a lot. I think Mark Andrews can do the same thing to that defense. I really like Mark Andrews in this matchup. His price is reasonable at $3,800. Gonna be targeting him a lot in my top GPP rosters. Now these contrarian plays, they are contrarian for a reason. I'm not gonna have too much of them, but they're on my radar. Tyler Eifert versus San Francisco. He got 6 targets last week, 5 receptions, 27 yards. But we know when he's healthy, he's done well in the past. I mean, this guy just needs to stay healthy, but going to be at home. If he can get 6 to 7 targets, I can see him meeting value for $2,900. $2,900 is an insane price for what he can provide for his ceiling. I like him this week. This guy is more of a, if I really just need the saving, and I love my roster. Mike Gesicki versus New England. I'm targeting some of these cheap guys on the return of the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, they always play better at home versus the Patriots. Brian Flores is going to try to, do everything he can because he was a former Patriots coach and he knows the Patriots better than other people. He was a defensive coordinator, so he's a linebacker coach, I believe. But definitely like Mike Gesicki as kind of a contrarian, lowly owned play. But those are the guys I'm targeting. Not too much excitement there, but those other guys, definitely have them. That's my player pool right there, tight end. I don't go any further than like 6 or 7 guys in my player pool on tight end. So yeah, those are my guys right there. Let's go to the next position.
Defense.
Defense is pretty simple, guys. I always keep it chalk. I always play the chalk, and then I rotate my defense out. I don't put a limit. I just try to play whoever I think I like and go from there. Texans are let me get my value. The Patriots are number 1 value defense at 3,700. I have them projected for almost 12 points at 11.5 points actually. Texans after that, they're supposed to be projected for 18% ownership. Patriots are 15% ownership. This one kind of pissed me off because I really wanted to get them, but the Broncos are my contrarian defense versus Chicago at 2,700. I'm going to try to get a lot of ownership of them. I really like the Broncos this week. The next defense is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Arizona Cardinals. Like I said, I think the Cardinals will actually score points, so I'm not too high on the Ravens at 3,800. I'd rather pay for the Patriots, but they're right there at 10% ownership. The next one I want to mention is the Bills. No, not the Bills. The Giants. It's Josh Allen. He throws picks, so you can get the Giants at 2,500. Sure, but I'm mostly sticking to those top tier defense I mentioned. But those are my defense right there. My cash game defense is definitely gonna be the Patriots or the Broncos. On tight end, let's go ahead and go over all the positions real quick for cash game. I'm gonna name 3 guys and go from there. Josh Allen, Derek Carr, and Patrick Mahomes. Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler, and Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I don't even know if you guys can build a roster. If you can build a roster, then yeah, go ahead. I mean, from top 3 guys. Wide receiver, let's see. Sammy Watkins, Larry Fitzgerald, Tyrell Williams. You can play Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, or Juju Smith-Schuster too, but I feel more comfortable paying down at wide receiver. So, tight end, my cash game tight end definitely gonna be Travis Kelce or Darren Waller, one of the two. Defense is gonna be Patriots defense or Broncos defense, like I said. All right, now here we go. We've been waiting for this.
Fantasy G Moneymaker of the Week.
My Moneymaker of the Week, guys. All right, are you guys ready? The player that I think is going to be just a smash value, a smash play this week, due to his matchup, due to everything I asked out of him, everything I want. All right, hold your breath, guys. Hold it, hold it, hold it, because I'm gonna have him in a lot of my lineup. And he is. Darren Waller. I'm locking in him at least 50% of my lineup. I'm gonna have him all over my plays. I just can't see with his price and his ceiling. I'm gonna have a ton of Darren Waller. He's my lock of the week. I understand Kelsey's there and all these other tight ends are there, but Darren Waller is just gonna be that guy that I'm gonna favor a lot. I wouldn't be shocked if he's at least 75 out of my 150 roster. Probably not gonna go that high, but I wouldn't be shocked if I just fall in love with him and just play him a lot. But that's my baller of the week, my moneymaker. But now let's cover stacks. The stack of the week. Here we go. My stacks of the week this week. If you haven't been listening to the podcast, then I don't know what you've been doing all the way to here, but I want to thank you very much for listening this far in. Stack number 1, Derek Carr, 5,100, Josh Jacobs, 4,700, Tyrell Williams, 4,400, Sammy Watkins, 7,200. Total cost of the stack is $21,400. That's my stack, number 1 stack. My number 2 stack is my contrarian stack. Kyler Murray, 5,400, David Johnson, 7,100, Larry Fitzgerald, 4,600, Mark Andrews, 3,800. That's my contrarian stack. My next stack is just going to be more of a in-between stack. Patrick Mahomes, 7,500, Damian Williams, 5,800, Sammy Watkins, 7,200, Tyrell Williams, 4,400. But that costs $24,900. You can also switch out Tyrell Williams for Darren Waller, so you can go both ways. Alright guys, that will do it for this week. Add me on the following to get my podcast and my YouTube channel and all my information. You can go to the Facebook group, the Fantasy G Podcast /DFS Roundtable, or you can find me on YouTube, it's Fantasy G Podcast, Twitter, the Fantasy G Pod, Twitch, the Fantasy G Podcast, and you can find me on all podcast networks for the name of the Fantasy G Podcast. Alright guys, I hope you guys kill it this week, because winning is everything.